I'm noticing a lot of people in Canada getting excited about the change of actors. But the blue team's gonna get in, the red team's gotta go. Okay, people, let's have a serious talk here. Do you really want to change? Or are you just hoping someone changes for you? Because that's the foundational problem. But if you're sort of cemented into that system mentally, where you're, nothing scares the shit out of you more than running your own life. Okay, I understand that. You've been there so long, and this is the way the human body's designed. No harm, no foul. It likes what it's used to. It doesn't like change. I understand that. Okay, so if you want to get the actors changed and just change the team color and basically say, that'll do it. Oh, that'll do it. I'll just put the X on that box instead of that box. That's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so let's say you're there. You don't understand that that's not going to work. Okay, so go to your actors. Everybody wants the blue actor now. But you know what? Everybody wanted the red actor about 12 years ago. But, never mind that. So go to your blue actor in Canada, and wherever it is, your local blue actor, or even pose this question to the big blue actor. I think his name is Pierre Pouvier, or Pouvier, whatever his name is. Can't really pronounce that properly. Pouviev. How about that? Go to the blue actor and say, okay, because the base of all the scams are basically two laws that aren't there, and they need to be there. So if you want to start digging out of the crisis and chaos and panic and terror that this institution has caused you and your forefathers and foremothers and for generations and generations. And if you can't see that the only way out of it is for you to take full control of your own life and stop outsourcing your personal responsibility to third parties who have no interest in you having a better life. So if you can't get there, go to your blue actor and say, can we address these two laws? So there's only two laws that if you think he's honest, and if you think the blue team is honest, and you think the blue team is on your side, and you really want to put it to the test, ask them to institute only two changes in policy. Number one, there has to be a limit. So if I'm not into anyone stealing my money, so I'm not endorsing this at all. I'm doing this for the person who can't wrap their head around the idea that running their own life with all their money is the better option. So you'd have to go to the blue actor and say, I want you to prove that you're honest and prove that this tyrannical rule won't continue. And there's two laws that you have to implement. One, there has to be a limit of money that the government can steal from the public. A limit. Even if you wanted to run it like, say, the NHL salary cap, where the salary cap, every team has a limit of what they can spend on the players. And if you want to talk to a Canadian about economics, you might as well compare it to hockey, because that's probably the only thing they can understand in most situations. So there's a salary cap. You're not allowed to spend above the salary cap. No, you can't do it. And as the league gets bigger, it's like the league, which would be the government, and the teams, which would say be the people, or maybe even vice versa. But basically there's a splitting of the revenue. I think the government's proper percentage of what you earn is zero. But again, if you can't wrap your head around this, go to your representative and say, I want you to put a law on the books that limits how much you can take from me. Because can you not see that's part of the problem? It's a big part. It's not the whole part, but it's certainly a big part of the problem. Can you limit? I want a law, and have you noticed there's no government in the world that has that law on the books, which limits their ability to take your money. You cannot get into a contract with a group like this, a group of buccaneers, swashbuckling buccaneers, pirates of the high seas, and you get into a contract with them where you're not going to limit how much this group can take from you. It won't be too long before they're like, yeah, let's take the whole thing. They're so fucking stupid. Take the whole thing. And that's where they're going. Because you never protested 5%, 10%, 20% of your income, 30, 40, 50. And then you feed a wolf like that every single day. They're going to want, eventually they're like, let's take the whole thing. And that's exactly what they're going to try and do. So if you're in love with the blue team up in Canada right now, go and say, hey, I want a limit on how much you can steal. You can't steal anything above that limit. That's your limit. You got to run the country with that budget. That's your budget. You work in a budget. I work in a budget. You work in a budget. That's what you got to do. Number 2, there can be no emergency clauses anywhere in any government in the world. That's your second problem. They always have these clauses saying, yeah, here's your rights, but if we declare emergency, you got no rights anymore. Are you? Holy shit. Who in the world would agree to that shit? And people, that's your second problem. There can be no clause where they can unilaterally declare some emergency which triggers some other law that takes your rights away. You can't get into a contract with these people with that on the books. You can't do it. Or you're asking for the same problem over and over and over again. Again, 2 laws limit what the government can steal as a percentage of wealth. Make it into categories. Do it any way you want. It's a step in the right direction. I believe they deserve nothing. And number 2, there cannot be any laws on the books where they declare an emergency and you lose your rights. Just go to your blue team, propose that, see what happens. This is Jason Christoph signing off. Thanks for listening.